came all the way out here. We're going to design this thing together. And I think I do have a reputation for just kind of speaking off the cuff and from the hip and get myself into a lot of trouble quite frequently as a result of that. So let's see if we can pull that off today. So I'm going to have you guys help me build the topics that we're going to be talking about. So we can talk about how I got started in the industry. Yeah. Round of applause. We can talk about DRM. Wow, okay, all right. We can talk about the experience of being at a certain cable station. Yeah. We can talk about what it's like not being at that certain cable station. I think we have some stuff here. We can talk about what my favorite game of all time is, because it's not like I've never been asked that question before. And we can talk about, I don't know, the consoles, new ones coming out. All right. PS, Infinity. Stuff like that? Okay, we're going to do some of that. We do have a microphone up here, so we can bring some people up. I don't want you guys waiting in line. You know, it's fitting the whole thing. There are seats here for a reason, so unless you're uncomfortable, we'll find a fun way. So, we went through that gamut. Do you want to start with how I got started in the industry? Yeah. See, everyone always wants to hear this, because they're like, it'll give me some advice about how I can do something like that as well, which I'm not necessarily advising any of you to do, and you will learn that through the course of this next hour. But when I do tell this story, yes, prepare to be a little bit disappointed if you want to get any learning from it. So I did play video games when I was young. I didn't come from a family that had a ton of money, and so you get that one game and you just play it over and over and over again. And I was an idiot and would get games like Ice Climber when Castlevania was available. So I wouldn't say that I had the most robust knowledge when I was young. I had some interest in acting. Thought maybe I would do that, and then I went to college at UCLA, go Bruins, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll be in the theater department. And then I met the people in the theater department. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be an English major. Which was great. I really, really did enjoy that. And so I get out of college, it's like 1995, and probably a lot of you are hearing this now, like the ones who are leaving college. There's all on the news, in the news, like, yeah, you'll never get a job. Young people cannot work. There is no economy. And I was believing it because it was hard to get a job. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I have an English degree. I wanted to act. It was very, very confusing. And I got a call from a friend I had known back in childhood. And he said, hey, I work at a bank. Do you want to come work with me? And I was like, okay. And this wasn't like a teller. This was like a big multinational bank that lent money to oil companies. And I was an English major, let me reiterate that. My job was to kind of validate and help push hundreds of millions of dollars to these various companies. I was an English major. This was also at the time when a gentleman named Nick Leeson destroyed the oldest bank in the world, Barings Bank, from bad derivative trades when he was in Singapore. And they hired an English major to be able to do this job. It all started to make sense why things seem to go wrong in our economy. So, one thing I can tell you that we should all take from this, you don't want to work in a bank. It's not a fun place. It's just not. And I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. What am I supposed to do? So I started a public access cable station. Public access, you guys know, that was the internet before there was internet. Because you had to have these one station available for anybody to have access to and put that out there. Now that's called the internet and it happens simultaneously, but back then you would be lucky, you would get in there, and we made a sketch show called Shipway Magnet Down, and many people have always asked if they could see episodes of it, and we can't because we stole licensed music and images like you couldn't believe, and I don't need the lawsuit. So we were having a lot of fun there. Now how does this relate to video games, you are asking? It eventually does. And there was a young lady on the show who had a boyfriend and that boyfriend's roommate worked at GameSpot. And it was owned by Zip Davis, and they wanted to start a new TV station, which they named ZDTV, because that sounds sexy. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get on to ZDTV. That's why we have stations called Spike now. It kind of sounds right. So they said, hey, we need to get someone to host this show. Do you want to, come audition? I was like, okay. I mean, this sounds a little bit better than working in a bank. I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't think I'd feel like confident about games. I talked to a couple of friends at the time. I was like, what game should I talk about? And they said, Resident Evil 2. I'm like, okay, I got that. And Final Fantasy 7. As with especially the Final Fantasy games, but a lot of Japanese RPGs, it seems to be this arbitrary collection of names. If you don't play the game, it doesn't exactly register. So I got to the audition. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know how this is going. And then it turns out the woman who ran the public access station was directing the audition. I'm like, okay, this is getting interesting. And I get in there, and they say, so, do you want to read the copy that's here in the prompter and that? And they're like, what are your favorite games right now? I was like, Resident Evil 2. I'm like, yes, I got it. And then I said, like, Final Fantastic. And I can see their face, like, okay, all right, hold on a second. And I was like, this is not going well. I could feel like all those pores just on my forehead opening up. This is not going to be good. And then the floor director says, hold on. They would like you to river dance. And there was a sketch that I had done at this public access station where it was Michael Flatley of Riverdance fame teaching classes on river dancing at the community college. And it was mainly just, me standing there going like this a lot. And jumping off camera, changing shirts, unbuttoned to my navel, coming back on and doing this while other people trying to do it along with me. And I was like, okay, I can river dance. And so I stood there at this audition and went like this for a little bit. And then I got the job. So, unfortunately for people that have always asked, how can I get a job like yours in the industry? I'm like, river dance. So that's the key to being a video game journalist. So there's that story. So everyone start yelling out. What do you want to hear about? Let's make this interactive. Extended play? So who here remembers what the name of the show was before it was extended play? I kind of gave it away in the last thing. Yell it out.
GameSpot TV.
So the reason it became extended play was mainly an ownership thing. Ziff Davis gave ZDTV to Paul Allen, who turned it into Tech TV. And so we couldn't use the Ziff Davis branded GameSpot, so we had to come up with something that was extended play. Because back in the old days, there were these things called records. You could get EPs of things, and yeah, that didn't really go over with anybody. So the extended play days were interesting. We had a staff of, I think at our height, 6 people making this television show, and it was a lot of fun. And it was incredibly hard work. But I look back on those days really fondly because it was a much different game industry. One of the issues I've always had to deal with, and a lot of my colleagues have had the benefit of not dealing with as much, is that by doing TV, there always had to be video. It's not that much fun to watch somebody describe a video game. It is called video game. This is something that is sometimes lost on the industry and the publishers when we want to cover something. They're like, oh, do you want footage? I'm like, no, I'll just act it out with sock puppets, okay? Yeah, that's what I want to do. But back then, it was a lot easier to get this footage. I could just get on the phone and be like, hey, can I get some footage of Metal Gear Solid? And boom, there it would be. It was a nice time. I don't think we really understood what we were doing, and the industry itself was still quite niche, and it was just kind of fun that we were just kind of off in a corner making this little show about video games. That is definitely not the case now. Now I imagine you guys, I'll talk about how we went from extended play to X-Play. This was one of many instances where our show was not doing well.